Hey y'all, so I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I've been super busy per usual, but I wanted to kind of update you guys, especially since I'm almost done with school. So I think the last time I talked to you guys, I had left the hospital job because I just really didn't like it there. And then was getting ready to start at a home care job. So, started at the home care job, and very shortly after that, just realized that it was going to be too much for me to have to deal with while in school. So it was starting to feel like a little bit of a job hopper, a little bit. That's really not in my style. I really don't like to keep switching back and forth between jobs and things, but sometimes it's like if you stress, you just got to do what you got to do. So, anyways, to make a long story short, this home care job was good for flexibility and things. However, it was so much outside at home paperwork. So, as an example, if I was to be starting with a new patient that nobody else had yet seen, it was about 13 pages worth of documentation that had to get clicked through and typed in online. So imagine that you got 13 pages of stuff that you have to do. You can't do it all at the person's house. Typically, that just is not how it was going to work. Can't just sit at their house and just chart all day. So got to the point where it just became a lot. The company was constantly calling me, asking me, can you take this new person? Can you take this new person? Because that's money for them, right? Like when I see them, that's money for them. More money probably than for me. And they don't have to be bothered with all the extra work. So it just became a lot. They would text me also back to back. And if I took too long to text back in their definition of quickness, then they would send me double question marks, basically telling me like, okay, you're taking a long time to respond back. And um, I could be at a patient's house or driving or whatever, and they were expecting a text back, and I would say, hey, I was driving or whatever the case. But anyway, it just got to be too much, and it got to the point where, I said, okay, what's more important here, the work part or the school part? So I had to let the work part go and tell the company that I could no longer work with them. Could not give a 2 weeks notice. I know that's bad, y'all. Don't judge me, but I couldn't do it no more. So left them. Tried to go back to my old job at that point. The one that I was originally at when I first started school and that I had been at for almost 3 years. And the unfortunate thing is with them is that they usually only hire like full-time nurses and things. So basically, I had to end up um, not being able to work there because they didn't have any part-time positions, and it would have took some time to try to create a position and do all that. And it's government, unfortunately, for those who have worked with any government agency, knows that it can take a long time. It's a process for everything with government companies. So that didn't work out. However, I was really very thankful for all the experience that I had gotten while I was, there before. And it kind of was the reason what led me to actually start NP school. And it also gave me a lot of knowledge on vaccines, which are very important, and also on where I wanted to end up as an NP or just in my future practice in general. So the STD care, STD treatment, the resources that are available for HIV positive patients, and how to handle those situations, or even just handling sensitive situations with patients. It just gave me a very great experience, and it really just led me to where I wanted to head mentally, or for the future as the NP. So I'm very thankful for that experience. I really don't have any hard feelings there, towards anybody. And then also provided some clinical experiences for me. I was able to get one of my clinical sites through there because of, probably easier because of me having worked there, and I had the knowledge of who to contact and things. So, anyways, fast forward, after the home care job and trying to go back to the original job didn't work. I was off for a few weeks, which was nice, but financially it was not nice. So I'm like, okay, I had to find something. Ended up having a job interview at one of the other hospitals here, and it went okay. Um, but for one, they had concerns that I was in school and that I was going to be graduating in April. And then they also, kind of were concerned about my schedule and things and how that was going to work out. It was only going to be like a two day a week thing, 2 12-hour shifts a week. And originally it was supposed to be for nights, and then they ended up emailing me back and saying, hey, would you be interested in part-time days instead? So I said, yeah, that would be better. So I thought that it was looking like promising with that. And come to find out, I actually never heard anything back from them after they reached out to me after the interview and asked about um, working the part-time day shift. And even after I followed back up with them, I still had not heard anything. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna get mad about that. It is what it is. Everything, you guys, and I don't know how many people believe this, but everything happens for a reason. Never think that stuff doesn't happen for a reason. It does. Everything. Every little small thing, it all happens for a purpose. Um, and it's usually for the positive. So, anyway, um, ended up having another interview. Had an interview at another hospital. Okay, however, um, I don't remember. To be honest, I don't even remember applying for this job. I think I was probably up late one night and was like, oh yeah, let me just apply for this. Not really thinking, and so didn't even remember I applied for it, and I got a phone call, and it kind of they was giving me a description of what it was, and so basically it was a outpatient, like ambulatory setting, in clinics and things, um, through the hospital system, through one of their contingent departments where you go and you float. So they have inpatient floats, but this position that I had applied for was for floats for outpatient areas. So any kind of outpatient clinics that they have, and they're a pretty decent, large, like a pretty large system here in Michigan. So they have multiple clinics and things where they need help pretty much like all over, this part of Michigan that I'm at. So ended up going to an interview, was pretty much offered the position that same day, was discussed the pay, which gratefully is double pretty much what I was making at all the other jobs because it's contingent. Um, so thankful to God for that part. So got offered the job there, was told that I was going to get an official call the next day. They called me back the next day. And so I actually just started my orientation for that this past week. And it was very positive. Like, I usually don't like work orientations and stuff, but I don't know if it was just because I had not been working for a little bit or what, but it was good. It was a like very positive, and even like on the first day, um my first, like the actual corporate orientation part, and not like the actual specific nursing orientation, but like the first actual orientation day, it was just like, it was good. It was a lot of good speakers and things, and usually it's very boring at these orientations and just a lot of nonsense, but I actually really felt like, okay, this is going to be a good place to work. And the positive thing about it too, like during the interview, was that there was no concerns about me being in school. They said a lot of their nurses are in school, and that's why they choose to work through this particular part or through these positions that are contingent, because it allows them flexibility. And they say, yeah, and then you could actually probably, we like to pass off our nurses' resumes and things when they finish and graduate school and get their, their certifications and things. So it's a possibility for growth even after I finish school, and not in the inpatient area, but really in the outpatient area that my degree would be more so focused towards. So I said, well, that's why I said everything happens for a reason. Now I have higher salary, chance for growth, in a positive place, um, So I can only really, I have to be thankful to God for that. So I just started that this past week. And to update you guys on the school portion, that's another thing. So started clinicals back after I finished up in July with the urgent care doctor. I started clinicals in September. Got a little vacation. Went to North Carolina with one of my best friends and her family, and had a great time there. I didn't want to come back. So, anyways, after coming back from there, I started clinicals in September for my peds clinical, and I had the privilege of working in one of the ERs, seeing kids, and then also in the office setting, seeing kids. So for those who are in FNP programs, which is more geared towards like outpatient preventative, it was a really good experience because I got the added experience of a lot of sick visits and a lot of things that you may not really get to see in the outpatient setting as much. And then I also got that outpatient well visit experience, milestones, developmental milestones, and what to look for, that we as FNPs may come across more. So it was great. Really good experience. And then after that, I started my women's health clinical, which is the one that is very interesting to me, or was, very exciting for me to start because I have a high interest of working with women in the future for like pap smears, um, birth control, just educating and empowering us women because I'm very, very big on that. And also STDs and things like that, which I'm, just very big on giving us women like a voice and knowledge and things so that, we can be protected and safe and healthy and things like that, to kind of put power back on us. So, um, was very much looking forward to that clinical. I started at one setting, and I love the preceptor that I was working with. She was great. However, was there for 3 days. Come to find out, the approval, I received approval from my school, but she didn't get proper approval from her HR. So someone told, I don't know who told, someone told on her, not a patient, but I think a staff member that probably wasn't very fond of her or something. They told on her, and she got in trouble. I hope she didn't get in too much trouble, and she didn't really elaborate. She just told me she got in trouble. So she literally got in trouble, and I was no longer able to come back as a student. I even contacted the HR myself, and they never followed back up with me. They would not help me out despite the circumstance, because guess what? I had such a hard time finding the clinical. I finally found one, and now I don't have nowhere to go. So that was my mindset, and I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm during the semester now, so it's not even ahead of time. So now I'm sitting here scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. So, and I know you guys, I've told you guys about the struggles to find a clinical site. It's very difficult, especially for specializations like women's health and pediatrics. And now it's becoming even harder of a task for outpatient, just family practice. It's becoming very difficult. So anyways, after all of this is when my old job came into play to have helped me. I ended up reaching out to my job. I called up there and asked to speak to the midwife that I know works there on Thursdays at my old site that I was at, and she was nice enough to say that she was going to help me. Luckily, the student that she had already finished up with her for her time, and so she had agreed to work with me as long as I could get all the agreement stuff in place. So I ended up reaching out to the director that works in the other at the other site, the more main site where they see more patients through this area, and she emailed me back immediately, which was great. Like, she emailed me back probably within like 5 minutes and said, yeah, we can definitely have you come here. Just get the agreement signed by your school and we can be good to go. And then I had all my health stuff already lined up, like TB tests and things. I've had to do a million of those and a million physicals, and got all my shot records and things. So it worked out, and I was able to start with her the following like that following week, I believe. So I think I only missed like a week of clinical, I think. So put me behind a little bit, but not like too much. So another testimony, just thankful to the Lord that I was able to secure that. So now currently I'll bring you guys back to now. I am working with this lady. She's been a midwife for a very long time. I think since like 1987 or something. And she sees a lot of pregnant women. The one site, a lot of those women, they come in, a lot of pregnant women. Not so much like the STD stuff, but a lot of experience with like OB and postpartum, which was stuff that I didn't think I was going to get a lot of experience with. And then at the other site, which is the site that I used to work at, I think she sees like a little bit less patients on that day, but she will see, some gynecological things and stuff. And she sees gynecological things at the other site too. But anyway, very good experience. First few days, it still is kind of stressful to me because she's just like she's very strict. I was able to get back my computer access and things. So the night before all of my clinical days, I go in and look up each individual patient, look up their previous labs, look up any ultrasound results or any genetic testing results that was done. And look for any abnormal things. And then I also look at some of the cheat sheet stuff that she gave me and determine like, okay, this is however many weeks they are. What should we be doing with this person when they come in for this visit at like, say 20 weeks or something, 20 weeks pregnant. So yeah, she's just very strict though. She's she'll ask me like, okay, well, what are we gonna do for this patient? And she expects you to know a lot. She's been doing this for a very long time, so her knowledge, she like kind of expects you to have a lot of it too. So it's been good though. I must say I have learned a lot. So even though it's stressful, I will say that I've learned a lot. And I'm still learning a lot. I have a few more weeks left with her because like the week before last, I had to do like 4 days with her because I had to catch up. And I knew I was going to miss out this past week except for one day because I had orientation all week. So it's been a lot going on. But I have to say that everything has worked out for the best. And so now, last week, I also got an email about applying for graduation. So I'll be graduating April the 26th of next year. And I'm looking forward to it. I have already in my head, I'm going to do a photo shoot and I'm going to find somebody good to do that. Going to do the whole nine and just really go all out because I really thought for some reason, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought EMP school was going to be easier than like nursing school, but no, I don't know why I thought that. I have no idea. But no, EMP school has been very challenging for me. And anybody though who is looking to go into an EMP program, just be prepared. I would say try to have your work situation situated before you start because this has been a very big issue for me. If you don't have to work, if you have a spouse or somebody who is willing to help support you and you don't have to worry about working that much, or you can, not, work at all, then it's great. Like, if that's an option for you, I would recommend it because then you can focus on all your studies and you can be the best that you can be, instead of trying to like plan things around work. You can just focus on completely studying, for your boards ahead of time, for whatever clinical stuff that you have to do, for any exams that you have, for school and things. You'll just have all that extra time. But for those who do have to work, because most of us do, just have your work life, like try to have that situated beforehand and don't do what I've done, because since I've started the program back, I started in 2017, started full-time, and then I dropped to part-time because of work scheduling. I've had 4 4. So this is literally like, this is horrible. This is the 4th job I done had since I've been in this program. This will be it. This will be the last. I'm not going nowhere else now. I got a very good vibe. I have a good feeling. I think this is going to be good. It's stuff that I've pretty much done some of before. Outpatient stuff. More of my cup of tea. I don't like the inpatient stuff. That's why I'm going for FNP and not acute care. So, but yeah, just a strong tip to you guys from my mistake is just make sure that you have your work situation established if you can before you start. Another thing is just remain focused. A lot of times stuff tends to happen to you all at once. While you have a lot of other things going on, or while you had this big assignment due, or while you have this, that to worry about for school. And then that's when life loves to happen. And, you have to face, these things too. And to me, it's like a blessing, basically, in disguise or whatever, because it makes you stronger. And you'll appreciate your journey much more when you finish with your program and stuff. And not to say that's true for everybody, but it's just been my experience. I've had some very stressful times since I have been in school, and I will say that it's made me a very strong person. Sometimes I have not, knew how I was going to do things, or how I was going to manage, or how this was going to get done. And you just kind of say a prayer and you do it and you get through it, and you try to learn as much as you can while you're, in the process of going through life and school and work. And it's not easy, but I believe that it will be worth it. To have more autonomy in my practice, and to be honest, to have a bit of a higher salary, because we know that as healthcare professionals, we work very, very hard, and a lot of us don't get paid what we should get paid for all the things that we do. Because working with the public, working with patients and working with their families, and sometimes working with kids or elderly patients, or whatever, it can become a lot. So it takes special people to be in the healthcare field. So, to reach up for the highest that you can be is a great thing if it's possible, and if it's something that you really feel driven to do, then just, I would say go ahead and do it. But really do research on your schools. If I could go back, I probably would not go to the same program that I am in. I probably would have done a hybrid program where I was in like class a little bit and maybe online a little bit, or a program where I was fully in person, aside from like, going to clinicals outside of school. I would say that it's in my eyes, and not for everybody, but like in my eyes, I feel like it would have been better for me. Because I feel like it forces you to really know everything and to study and be like, really disciplined, as opposed to now it's like, okay, this is due this day, this is due that day, I gotta submit this online or whatever. It's just not as much structure. So I would go back and probably do a different program. However, because I'm almost done, it's just like, it is what it is at this point. But that's just my pointer. Another pointer is go to a school that's going to help you find clinical sites, because my school gives you zero help. I have been given zero help since I've been in school with finding a site. And then another issue is the school is 2 hours away from me. The actual campus is 2 hours away. So the people that are working, excuse me, my stomach is growling, but the people who are working at the school, they only know Grand Rapids. So my question is, well, you have students all over Michigan. You're only able to be familiar with Grand Rapids areas. You have no connections down in the Detroit area or anything to help your other students who do not live in Grand Rapids. So, that's my issue, with my program, but that is what it is. I just wish it was more help given to us, because it's stressful trying to deal with school and then try to find clinical sites as well, which is very hard to do. most of the time. So anyways, though, I will try to post a little bit more now. Hopefully, I will have my life together. I'm getting ready to actually, after I get off of here, do a soap note and then hopefully do something else later. I'm hoping. Um, and just hoping for like a nice restful Sunday because I'll have clinical Monday, Tuesday, and then I'll be off for the holidays and stuff. So I think that's pretty much it. I hope everybody has a good holiday, a stress-free holiday, and a restful holiday if possible. And I will try to update you guys soon.